Welcome to the Addison podcast, where we talk about what it actually takes to hit your first six or multi-six figures in business. I'm Addison, certified clinical hypnotherapist and online business coach for entrepreneurs. And 3 years ago, I decided that nursing wasn't for me, dropped out of nursing school, and dove into the online space. From free hypnosis audios to unfiltered conversations and business advice, this is the space for you to take radical responsibility towards creating your dream business. Let's dive in. Okay, we're going to talk about and celebrate my clients' first six figures in business, which is so fun and so cool for me to share, just because we have been working together literally since the beginning of time. She was in the first round of TVA, my signature group program, when I launched it when I was a baby coach and had just launched my first group program, and came full circle over this past couple of months and reinvested in the mastermind. We've always been connected, but it's just really cool to see the full trajectory over a couple span of years of her growth and really just all of the work that she's put into her business. So this particular client doesn't have like 1 million followers. I doubt she even has 1,000. I don't know. I could check, but I don't think she does. She doesn't post every day. She doesn't have multiple free offers. And I think in the past 4 months, she's actually only posted on her Instagram a couple of times, to be honest. But what this client does have is a great knack at creating community and building networks and getting referrals, because she provides such an amazing service, as well as retaining clients for years because of her service being so amazing. People just stay in her space, right? So she didn't make $16 billion in her business in 5 months. Like all of us coaches like to say, I made six figures in this amount of time, right? But what she is able to do is hit these high income months on repeat and sustainably now, while not sacrificing her life for her business, saving, paying off debt, and supporting herself. And so overall, this client has really incredibly strong business foundations, we're going to talk about as well in just a moment. But there's a couple of things that has really aided in, over the span of a couple years, her going from hitting her first $5,000 month to incrementally and sustainably creating her first six figures. And a lot of that has to do with tailored support as she's scaling, and her not trying to skip any steps in the business building process. She spent a lot of time pouring into her clients, providing an exceptional service, honing in on her skills, getting better as a service provider versus how can I just make more money? And she didn't skip those foundational steps of building the product suite, of creating a model that retains clients for years to come, of getting referrals and providing an amazing service so that she gets testimonials and et cetera, right? She didn't skip the steps that a lot of people are trying to skip to go from $5,000 to $20,000 months or whatever. So these foundations that we're talking about allowed her to hit her first $5,000 month initially, and then $8,000, and then now will help her also as she's growing and scaling, and she's on track to hitting six figures again this year, and will even help her grow to $20,000 months, etc. So in our time together in the mastermind, she has, hired an OBM herself. She has refined her offer suite a little bit and just created better standards and boundaries for herself. We've raised her rates about 25% for her clients, and just these small tweaks internally has allowed her to scale her income while feeling really, really good in her business and creating amazing opportunities for herself just through networking alone, not even through her Instagram. So she's just now, after a couple months in the mastermind, starting to post regularly again, which is really cool to see. But again, she's taken that from the place of, I'm not skipping steps just to sign on more clients. How can I actually expand my capacity to hold more clients and to take on more clients? So we're going to get really real for just a moment about what it actually has taken for her to create these results. This particular client, again, has worked with me, for years now, and we've worked on creating the correct systems in her business. But throughout our time period, and even when she was in TVA initially, she's, had hard moments where she's had really difficult personal situations come up, where she's lost clients, where she's dealt with a difficult client situation, where she's had to look really internally at herself and say, say like, was the situation because I wasn't providing great results or great services, or is this just because we weren't aligned? She's had to do the inner work. She's been doing hypnotherapy for years now, and she's young too. And that's like another amazing thing, is that she's far beyond I was at 21 years of age. And it's because, again, she's not skipping the steps. She's honing in on the foundation so that her business can sustainably grow with time. So she's gone through a lot of ups and downs. And one thing remains the same throughout all of those ups and downs, is that she has worked hard for this level of success that she's created. She did not, was not someone that just magically over the span of 8 months created 6 figures, or that has been able to do that on repeat very early on. She spent years of time creating the foundations to do this. So this is your sign if you are someone that feels like it's not happening quick enough for you, or you look at other people and you say, why is it happening for her but not for me? That you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. You don't know how much work someone is putting in. And also, there are times where like sometimes we just need to enjoy the journey and realize that we're building sustainability and sustainable businesses versus like, I want the quick, fast success, right? And you can have both, but sometimes you just need to consistently show up and put in the work. And so we talk a lot about in the online space how everyone is like worthy of their success, right? Like everyone is inherently worthy of money or wealth or, success, or of having the dream business that they want. We're inherently worthy, right? But sometimes I'm just going to get really real with you for a second. I look around and I'm like, okay, you might be inherently worthy because every human is worthy of the level of success they want to create, but are you deserving of it by the amount of work that you're putting in? And while yes, we are inherently worthy of success, do you really deserve the success that you want to create? And let me tell you what I mean by that. So are you expecting to hit $10,000 months, but posting 5 times a week is like too much, or you don't have the time, or it's, too hard, or you don't know what to say on your Instagram, right? Like we're making all these excuses, right? Or do you expect to hit $10,000 months, but selling every day is something that feels too hard and you don't feel like it and you don't want to do it and you shouldn't have to do it, right? We're almost like kind of integrate this level of entitlement. This is kind of what I see in the online space. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because this client is the complete opposite. She's someone who will literally do whatever needs to be done and whatever it takes to create the success that she wants. I think other examples are, I see people that want like these crazy opportunities like this client has, or these really high level clients. But you fixate on things like likes or story views, or, you let that stop you from creating content that could take you to the next level and get you out there, or you're too fearful to like reach out to the client or apply for the opportunity or whatever. Alternatively, people desire this freedom in their business, but they don't set boundaries with clients. They don't raise rates. They don't, move on when people can't afford their prices, or they people please because they're afraid of someone not liking them, right? Like, this is what I mean by deserving of your success. Like, what are you actually doing that means that you can and deserve to create that level of success? Again, you might be inherently worthy of it. We all are. We're all worthy of success. But are we actually putting in the work that is required to create that level of success? So I say this a lot because I ask people, like, are you actually doing what you need to do? Are you actually taking your business seriously? And this is what I mean. So like, even for me, I ask myself this question consistently, like, if things aren't moving as quickly as I want, I'm like, okay, but are you doing everything that you should be doing in your business? Which to me looks like, selling regularly, posting regularly, getting on TikTok, creating the podcast, like making sure that my funnel and my business and the way that I'm attracting people, warming people up and building trust and converting people, that I'm hitting all of the different areas of that, right? Or am I expecting to just like sell on my stories once a week and then complain about why I'm not seeing those results, right? So I want you to just think about that as we're going through this, because I know that you are someone who is willing to do whatever it takes and wants to put in everything that you can to create success. And you're just like, I'll do whatever. I will post on TikTok 3 times a day. I'll post every single day. I'll connect with the clients. I'll do the engagement. Like, I'm not going to complain about anything because I want this so badly. And that's how this client was. So I want you to realistically ask yourself if you are deserving of this success, because most people want that type of success, but they aren't really necessarily willing to do what it takes to create it. And that's a hard pill to swallow. And I've been in those shoes as well too. So it makes complete sense to me that because of this, because this is someone who is willing to do whatever it takes to create this success, that she celebrated her first 6 figures in revenue, because she was willing to do the things that result in her income continuing to grow as well, even if those things were not fun or easy, or if it took a long time or whatever. And one of those things is just providing a really, really amazing service. So after TVA with me, she hit her first 5K month. And then I supported her in pivoting her business a little bit to more align with the overall income goals that she had in her business and overall just like life and company goals that she had. And now after just a couple months in the mastermind, she's hired her first OBM. She's, celebrating massive pay in full. She also celebrated her first 6 figures, as well as she's on her way to 6 figures this year. She raised her client rates, 25% in her business. And it's funny because she actually told me that she's a walking testimonial of $5,000 months after TVA, because she was able to sustain that for so long. And again, she had this journey of like $5,000 months, sustaining that for months and getting really comfortable with that. $8,000 months, sustaining that, right? Like, it hasn't been this just like massive growth for her, but her whole thing is sustainability. So to her, this feels really, really, really good. And to me, if someone's able to sustain that $5,000 to $8,000 or $10,000 months before they're trying to jump and make more money, she's serving her clients really well. She's, learning how to create that energetic minimum in her business as well too. Is like sustaining something in business is so much more important than just saying like, oh yeah, I hit, a $30,000 month, right? And so she told me that she's the walking testimonial 5K months after TVA, which I absolutely love. And overall, this is because she has incredibly strong business foundations, tailored support, like I mentioned, as she's scaling. She didn't try and skip steps on her road to success. And because of these foundations, she's not relying on posting every single day to create results, which leads to these celebrations and leads to her consistently seeing this amount of growth. So why don't we talk about a few different things that we worked on when she was going to that $5,000 month mark, and then we're going to talk about a few as well at the $10,000 month mark, because those places look a little bit different in business, right? 5,000 is like, you need the foundations. Like, we are heavily working on foundations. So that looks like, product suite. What are your signature offers? What, we don't necessarily have like a massively diversified product suite at this point. But with this particular client, like, her product suite has evolved since she was in TVA and since she hit her first $5,000 month. But initially we created foundational offers that allowed her to hit that $5,000 month, which looked like, 3-tiered offers in her business that allowed people, at certain budgets to come into her space regardless of where they were at, and allowed her to support people at different spaces in business. So for me, that also, when I hit my, I guess I jumped to $8,000 really quickly in my business, but I had 2 offers. I had a group program and I had one-on-one coaching. And so she has these couple of foundational offers that allowed her to, again, meet people where they're at and bring people into her space at different income levels, and different needs of support from her. The other thing is that we allowed her to stop offering every service and package under the sun just for the money, and hone in on her zone of genius. So she is a service provider, and initially when she started her business, because she felt like, oh, what if people don't hire me if I niche down, she was literally offering everything under the sun. Graphic creation, engagement, social media, et cetera, literally everything under the sun, until she honed in on her craft. And so this is something that we also did in TVA as well too, as a foundation, is like, what is it that you really want to be known for? We also cleaned up and helped her feel confident in client communication, pitching her rates, saying no to services, holding herself as the actual CEO. So she felt really confident in her boundaries. We refined her client experience. So rather than not knowing what to do when onboarding a client initially, which is obviously a very important foundation, we systemized her processes in her business to allow her to seamlessly onboard clients, which, again, when we have a good client experience, we retain clients for years to come. We also really honed in on her skills. So we honed in on her skills as a service provider, like what can actually make her a better service provider so that clients stay in her space, and so that people are like loving the service so much that she's networking and she's, getting referrals, and just overall people like want to continue to work with her, right? She had to, during this time, fire some unaligned clients, get comfortable saying no. She started getting really picky with who and what clients she allowed into her paid experiences and paid spaces. And we overall upgraded her leadership capabilities, emotional intelligence, and confidence in herself. I used to say all the time that in TVA, we help you feel like an actual CEO. Like we help you feel like you actually make the rules versus your clients doing that or the other way around. So how she led herself and her clients and the work she was producing improved tenfold by creating these foundations, because not only were we, strengthening her mindset and hypnotherapy to allow her to feel safe and setting boundaries, but we were also honing in on her zone of genius. So her services got even that much better. And this is what allowed her to hit her first $10,000 month. So in TVA, this is really where we create the foundations to your first $5,000 month as we set the boundaries in your offers and your marketing, etc. And so we also really, in her marketing, as we niched this down, we got her known in the space on what she does. Like if people are like, I want to hire someone for this particular thing, they're going to think of her because of this. And again, this was at the time she was in this program, so we were on social media a lot more versus now where, she's slowly getting back into it, but she's been booked out for months, and we've had to make these minor additional tweaks to continue to scale. So we created foundational marketing pillars and content types for her to focus on at that time. And again, she said because of TVA, she was the walking testimonial of $5,000 a month. So again, those are just some of the foundations. We have obviously offers, we have boundaries, we have client experience, we have marketing, we have the standards that you, serve your clients at, the boundaries that you serve your clients at. But we also have the retaining strategy of like retaining clients. We have the, re-sign strategy. We have the long-term like revenue goal strategy of keeping people in her space for longer periods of time. And these foundations allowed her to hit her first $5,000 a month and then $8,000, and will also again help her hit her first $10,000 and $20,000 month because she has those foundations. She didn't try and skip the steps by saying like, oh, I just want to make $10,000 months. Let me just pivot into coaching and launch this group program, right? That's not even what she wants. But a lot of people have the mindset of if I do that, then I will make more money. But instead, we just need to create foundations in your zone of genius. So when she started in the mastermind, because of these foundations, she obviously was not a client where we needed to sit down and talk about her offer suite. She's not a client where we needed to sit down and tell her how to create content or what her content pillars are, or how to market herself. She had all these foundational skills. We were having higher level conversations that would continue to increase her income. So I remember very specifically on our 90-minute intensive, which we always have as the mastermind starts, that one of the first conversations we had was about, basically retaining clients for longer periods of time in her business and what that could potentially look like. So we had the conversation of, can we tighten your contracts a little bit to make sure that you're supported, and you're safe in your business, that we're doing like the necessary, like behind the scenes things in order to, make sure that you're protected in your business. We also had the conversation of like long-term revenue growth versus just increasing her income like in a month, right? We had the conversation of, again, serving her clients better. Like how can she better be a leader to serve her clients better and to produce better results with her clients, right? So we're not having those foundational questions anymore. We're way beyond that. We're also having the conversations of like passive funnels and what that could look like, as well as, offers beyond her done for you services right now that will allow her income to be uncapped. So some of the things that we worked on the mastermind, together, and that we do with a lot of the clients in the mastermind is one, capacity. It's expanding your capacity to do all of those things. And sometimes that looks like hiring, and other times that looks like literally just, allowing you to hold more higher level clients, feeling safe and holding higher level clients. This is all a mindset thing. Basically like expanding your capacity to take on more money, to handle all the things life and business throws at you, to consistently market while serving your clients, to get, better with your time management, to get better, at procrastination, to get better at motivation, like motivated on a day-to-day. All of these things are things that we cover in subconscious reprogramming to overall make sure that you are showing up at a higher level in your business and expanding that capacity to do all the things and to hold more and to obviously make more money. And so this also included us working on her health and wellness and like personal, care habits, such as consistency in her routine and working out, consistency in eating really healthy and taking care of her body. This was something that was really, really important to her. And in the Mastermind, we do this thing called the Conscious CEO Challenge, which is essentially, or the Conscious Living Challenge, can be either, but it's essentially you choosing like a project in your life where I can help you, stay accountable and build better habits in that area of your life to improve, to hit your goals. So for her, one of those things was really, falling back in love with her body, taking better care of her body, working out consistently, because she knows that all of these things make her feel really, really good. And so we've also worked really heavily on, creating those better habits. And that's like a higher level CEO conversation. Like, I don't know a CEO that is, not taking care of their body and not eating really healthy and like, sitting on a call and able to produce really great results for their clients if they're sitting there starving, right? Or they haven't had any water like that. Those things are so important for optimal growth and for sustainable growth without burnout. And I'm not saying you need to be like, this paleo eater or carnivore or something that works out at 5 a.m. every morning. I'm just saying that, in order to perform well in business, like our bodies need protein, our bodies need nutrients, and we need water, obviously. So that can look different for everyone, but this was something that she knew was going to be really important for her to consistently grow and to consistently produce results for her clients. Another thing is we continued to clean up her boundaries. So we, in doing this, created minimum 6-month contracts in her business. We raised her, standards in the sense of like raising rates. We raised her standards to only serving multi-6-figure CEOs versus like other, people in her space that were wanting lower level packages. So just little things like that, which also resulted in us changing the messaging and the way that she's presenting these offers as well too. So we honed in on her brand and her messaging specifically. How does she stand apart from everyone else in the space that does exactly what she's doing, right? So for her, she's really someone that is very, very good at reading her clients. And because she's built her business so sustainably, that's something that's really, really important to her. And so building sustainability for her clients and also providing a tailored level of support, that's one way that she differs. So we looked at how do we add that into her marketing? How do we convey to this higher level client that she wants to attract into her space that this is really what her offers are, like, and we're not attracting that lower level client that can't attract or can't afford her offers. We're, attracting this higher level client that can afford her offers, is ready and willing to, and knows that they need her support. So this is all in branding as well as her messaging specifically for these offers. So great example of this is I see a lot of OBMs say like, what's the difference between a VA and an OBM? To me, that creating that level of content is pertaining to the CEO who might be at the place where they need a VA and not an OBM, or at the place where, they don't really know what they need to hire and they're, not an ideal client because they don't know. So they also aren't in the place that they're ready to hire, right? Or someone that, is in the place where they're looking for to hire someone for VA prices at like $12 an hour or $30 an hour or something like that, versus being in the place where they're like, I need an OBM, I need your services, and I know that this is the next hire for me. I'm so excited and ready and willing to build my team. And also like, I know that this is going to, cost me $2,000 to $3,000 a month or something along those lines, right? And so how to know if you need a VA versus OBM, or what's the difference between a VA and OBM, to me is like boring messaging, boring marketing, versus honing in on your brand and what makes you different and infusing your personality into your content, right? And so we've really worked on that with her. She's already created, incredible credibility and authority for her audience. So we're just working on, discipline to create more visibility as well as consistency in her marketing, and then up-leveling that messaging as well as infusing her personality and her personal brand into her content so that she's attracting those higher level ready to buy type clients into her space. And then as we continue to increase her leadership skills, and she made her first hire, she now feels fully supported in her business as well too, because she has this, support system in her business, which was not I don't know, like an easy move for her to make, right? Like it's scary to hire. But this has allowed her to be hands off with a lot of the things in her business to, make more money, support her clients better, to really just pour into her clients as well too. And so that's another, piece of this is not necessarily everyone needs to hire. I'm going to recommend, oh, you're at this level, this is when you should hire. But that was a part of her journey. And we had to really work on her mindset around hiring and around feeling safe in that and taking that, next step, as well as, doing all of the things, the team, as well as the clients, as well as the marketing, as well as, bringing all of this together to expand her capacity to hold it all while dealing with very personal, things happening behind the scenes. So the mastermind is really the space where we, beyond the foundations, it's so much more than that, are, honing in on the deeper leadership skills, the emotional intelligence, the boundaries, the marketing, the messaging to, create your first six figures in business and beyond that. Because we're beyond the point of like, I don't know what to post. We're beyond the point of, I don't want to sell every day. And we're into like, how do I tweak my messaging to really call in the exact type of client that I want to? And that's what we do in the mastermind. So again, she doesn't have a million followers, but she's able to produce these higher income months again and again. She has right now incredible, opportunities lined up. She just started with an in-person client. She has these massive growth goals, and she will be a multi-six-figure business owner before the age of 25, which is crazy, all because of her focus on mindset and her business foundations and really like honing in on sustainability in her business, not skipping the steps. So I will just say this now because I know that this is going to pertain to a lot of people who are like, okay, what's the next step? Like, I know how to market, I know how to sell, but my income's not growing. And you would have a more sustainable business, be making more, have more free time, and be falling back in love with your business while not sacrificing your life for growth too. If you were willing to do the tough and the hard things and do the things you don't want to do, like the market research, creating the foundations, brainstorming your product suite, serving your clients to a higher level, enjoying the journey, letting your income plateau for a moment to refine, to make sure that you have the foundations and you're not like, growing your business on wobbly legs, right? So what I mean by this is like willing to invest even though you tell yourself it's not the right time, being willing to raise your rates even if you lose a client because you trust that you can sign more, being willing to set boundaries even if you fear someone will be mad at you because you are the CEO, right? Also being willing to launch and let your brand expand into something that no one has ever done before because you trust yourself and you have the confidence to sustain what you are creating and just get those things out there. So I'm not saying this has to happen quickly, but you have to be willing to, let yourself succeed in this way by doing the things. So I want you to ask yourself this question. Am I actually taking my business seriously? Am I trying to skip steps? Am I expecting things to just work out without taking the action that's necessary to get there? Am I expecting that if I, I'll just make these higher income months without doing anything, about changing anything, without, expanding my product suite or refining or, building upon these foundations without tweaking my messaging? Am I just doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results? Am I expecting to do this without someone that can pinpoint my gaps, right? And then I would love for you to connect with me when you're ready to take your income to the next level.